Meanwhile, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has talked about the characters of players that he wants to bring in to the Manchester United dressing room, saying you have to have a good personality and that you're a professional because one rotten apple in the basket will make the others rotten. So for me, it's about building a team that will reflect me and my coaching staff's personalities and views. Of course, there are standards because we want to win. We are in the business to win. A couple of rotten apples with us now, Frank Leboeuf and Craig Burley. Craig, what do you make of this?
Well, it's not the first time that he's gone down this road, and it's clear that he felt and his staff felt that there were bad apples within the dressing room, or there may still be some, if not one. We kind of know if he's still talking about someone within the dressing room, there's a fair chance it might be the star man in Paul Pogba, who knows. But listen, he's not saying anything that no other manager would be thinking in terms of when they go to a club. The important thing, and Frank knows this, is to have a really good dressing room, is to have really good guys that, yeah, when you have a bad day, you get together as a team. You win as a team, you lose as a team. But it's understandable in a squad of maybe 25 or so. They're all different characters, and you try and bring in the best people, but listen, people change when scenarios change.
But Frank, you need a bit of character, don't you, within the dressing room? You don't want just everyone to be yes sir, no sir.
Of course you need controversy as well, because sometimes, you don't have the right answer and the right decision every time you speak or you do something. You need leaders, so it's why you need characters, and it goes with that. You need ego as well, but in a good way. And you have to find the right chemistry. Something is wrong from me, according to what he said. He said players has to be like me in some ways. I think it's mostly him who has to adapt to the player he has, and that's make a great coach. When you know you have the players, you don't have all the players that you wanted because they were there maybe before you arrived, but you have to make sure that they stick to what you need, and you have to be strong. You need to be a character as well, and to have a character to make sure that they're going to follow you in any case and any tactic that you're going to make and accept your decision. That's the main thing. You don't teach professional football player how to play football. You bring them to a psychological aspect of the game and psychological aspect of mentality, and how you become a great coach.
You don't want robots, Dan, do you? Let's be honest. I mean, you look back to the Ferguson era and all those teams that he built. He was never frightened to go after characters, problematic people that might give him an issue. You look at Roy Keane. Roy Keane, was a hothead as a youngster. And, sort of calmed down somewhat on the field, but still had a temperament that was close to boiling over almost every time he went on the field. That's the way Roy was. That's the way Roy performed at his best. You look at Eric Cantona, the Frenchman that he brought in, who was a flawed character, but he was a fantastic footballer. He did it on the field. He had his problem at Crystal Palace when he went flying into the crowd. He was banned for that, rightly so. What did Ferguson do? He stood by him. He managed the situation. He tried to protect him as much as he could because he knew he could deliver on the field. The list goes on. The Schmeichels of this world, big characters in the dressing room, Pallister, all these different people, Paul Ince. So you need a little bit of that about the side. You can't have an all-controlling thing where, you say, right, if somebody's 5 minutes late for training twice in a row, that's just not good enough. At the end of the day, you've got to manage the situation.
And Craig, aren't you in a situation as well as Manchester United at the moment? You can't be too choosy. It's not like the old days. You've got a lot of competition. You can't offer the same sort of experience that you could, as you say, under Fergie. You're way off Liverpool at the top of the table. You want to bring in the best players, period. That's it, surely. You want to bring in the best players, not the best players who are going to fit and be this angelic sort of personality that Solskjaer's looking for.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, the bottom line here is he's going to have to bring in listen, if somebody's a complete nightmare, then obviously they're probably not going to go down that route for various reasons. But at the end of the day, every player is passed, is diligently looked into. When Dembele was signing at Barcelona, and I know there's been some issues and some injury issues, they looked at his period at Dortmund and they looked at some problems he had there and the lateness and some other scenarios. But they decided to go ahead with it. because they did their homework and thought they could manage the situation. Now, you can agree or disagree whether that's been a success or not. It might be down the line. But at the end of the day, you're right. It's about United plugging the gap to the top. It's about Man United being a powerhouse in Europe again. And that's going to take not only good footballers, clearly, but good characters in the dressing room, because without both of those scenarios, you're really not going to win a lot.
And he's talking, Frank, as if his tenure at Manchester United has been so successful up to this point that this is a formula that has worked perfectly for them up to now. Yet, let's face it, if it was another manager at a club of this stature, he wouldn't even be in charge now.
Yes, the thing I think is he tries to find a reaction from some players because he wants to put the image of Manchester United when they were at their primes and when they were the best team in the world, and he wants to go back. He want to go back to this standard to make sure the players are going to stick to his ideas, and that's I think it's a good thing. You have to be strong. You have to show the strengths of the club as well to make sure that the players who are going to come up, who are still there, is going to follow your path, and it's very important. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. Of course, Manchester United is not the club it used to be, and for the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, you don't have the result that you want. You don't have even the game that you want. So Solskjaer is trying to find a reaction from the players to make sure they go back to where they were and where they belong, in fact.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.